One of the most intriguing players for NC State football this fall is actually someone that hasn't played that much. What is NC State going to do with Jonathan Paylor?
You are Locked On Wolfpack, your daily podcast on the NC State Wolfpack, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, Wolfpack Nation? It's time to get locked in with Locked On. Thanks for making Locked On Wolfpack your first listen each and every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Happy Thursday to all. As always, I'm Grayson Boone, joined by former Wolfpack defensive tackle Kenton Gibbs. Kenton, I saw a picture hit the internet earlier this week. It was our running backs coach, Todd Goebel, had gone out to dinner with the running backs on the NC State squad this fall. But I noticed a face that we haven't kind of viewed as a running back. Jonathan Paylor was in attendance at this dinner. And so it kind of got my wheels spinning because not just this offseason, but even last offseason, one of the most asked about players in all of our YouTube comments and including on Twitter as well, when are we going to see Jonathan Paylor? What do you think Jonathan Paylor's workload is going to be? Is he going to be a wide receiver? Is he going to be on kick return? Is he going to be in the backfield? When should we expect to see Jonathan Paylor? And up until this point, our answer's kind of been like, well, he's in the lab. We're kind of waiting to see what the coaching staff is going to do with him. We just need him on the field one way or another. For Jonathan Paylor to be pictured with the rest of the running back room, in my mind, that might give some indication that he could see some time in the backfield this year. My opinion is this: as talented as a player as Jonathan Paylor is, you got to find any way you can get him on the field, whether that's at wide receiver in the slot or in the backfield as a running back, or if you want to run him out there on kickoff or punt return. He is so electric as an athlete. The best thing you can do for him and your team is to just simply get him on the field.
Kick returner, punt returner, gadget guy. This is the type of player you create something special that I would call the payday package for him, okay?
I like
because you need to get the ball in his hands in creative ways, a la Tavon Austin at West Virginia, a la Percy Harvin at Florida. He is that type of athlete. He is that type of athlete that if you just find ways to get him the ball, he will create those highlights. He will create those special plays. But when you're kind of dipping the toe and I'm not sure, you're not going to have great results with this. I think he's a guy that he needs a guaranteed 5 to 10 touches a game. Whether it comes on just basic, hey, we're going to line you up at running back, try with inside zone or outside zone, whether it's we're going to put you in the slot and run like a drag screen or a middle screen, whatever the case may be. I want him with the ball in his hands in broken field. That, to me, is a recipe for darn near guaranteed success because he is electric. He is a guy that he's just a great natural runner with the football. He has that track speed to where if you see him and he's even with a defender, congratulations, strike up the band, get the kids from ROTC to get on that board because they're going to have to do some push-ups. He's that type of player. But when you do this, we'll get it to him once or twice. We talked about this last year. There was an egregious mismanagement of talent in last year's offense. It just was. Even if you argue a player like Paylor is completely unproven. Okay, what about that Joe Lee kid? I think he's proven a little bit. The one that's now down in Texas Tech, Texas A&M, the Concepcion guy. I think that he was proven a little bit before last year, and we couldn't figure out any way to get him the ball besides bubble screens. So I look at this and I say to myself, Roper, your job, to me, what Paylor does next year, to me, is a direct indicator of how good and creative Roper is. And I may be wrong about that. I may be wrong. Roper may find innovative and Kurt, offensive coordinator, Kurt Roper may find innovative and strategic ways to get in the ball, and he just doesn't pan out. However, I'm of the belief and of the mindset that he is that type of talent that if Roper puts him in position to succeed, he'll be lightning in a bottle. He'll be the type of guy that will have those highlights for quite some time. He'll be a 2025 version of Nyheim Hines. He'll be all of those things if we give him the reins to do so.
Nyheim Hines is the exact comparison I was going for when I was going to get into this thing. Nyheim Hines was a player coming into state. He was at Garner High School. He ran track. Jonathan Paylor coming from the Burlington area. He actually was late coming to state last summer because he still wanted to run track. That track speed is something that you cannot duplicate if somebody else just doesn't have it. It does not grow on trees. When you get a player that has that physical ability, you have got to find a way to get them the rock and wind them up and let them go. I promise you, Paylor can be that guy for NC State this fall. And so that's why I got excited when I saw him in the picture with the rest of the running back room, because when you're looking at the depth chart, obviously Hollywood Smothers is a clear-cut RB1. Behind him, Duke Scott feels like a pretty clear-cut RB2. But then behind those two, it's kind of a big question mark. Jonathan Paylor being potentially your third running back option, it makes perfect sense to me. Because Jonathan Paylor has already been in this system for a year. His speed, his athletic ability, his ability to use open space to his advantage, use that. Because that is, to your point, Kenton, that's been our main plea for Kurt Roper. Use your best players, your most athletic players, your most electrifying players, and get them into open space. Jonathan Paylor is one of those. Maybe it won't be out wide as a wide receiver. That's fine. But if it's as a running back, maybe it's a trick play. I mean, I wouldn't want to use him as like a gimmick player, like a player that when they come in, something's up, because we saw how we tried to do that with the jumbo package early in the season last year. Defenses instantly knew what we were going to do, and they blew it up. You can't get predictable with a guy like Jonathan Paylor, but if you can get him somewhat consistent reps at like an RB3 spot, or like I said, maybe punt return, maybe kick return, he can do it. And he's going to do it in a quick, literally, like pun intended, in a quick fashion. So fascinating to see what they will do with Jonathan Paylor this year in 2025. Because you got to also remember, like, this was our top recruit just a year ago. The 2024 class, he was the top-rated recruit that we had for the entire class. And it was a good class. We're also talking about guys like Terrell Anderson and Keenan Jackson and Ronnie Royal, all great players, or suspected to be great players at NC State. Jonathan Paylor was the highest rated of all of them. You've got to find a way to get that kid on the field. And I think potentially in the backfield is a perfect solution.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, I want to see him with the ball in his hands, period. He's that type of player that, like you said, you either have that level of speed or you don't. You cannot coach that. You cannot, you can obviously, every ability that there is in football, you can massage it to hit a slightly higher level. I could have trained till I was blue in the face. I would have never been the fastest man. Grayson could have trained till he was blue in the face. He wasn't going to be that. All right. There are certain things you can coach how to catch. You can coach it. I'm not saying you can coach great hands. You can coach good hands into a guy. You cannot coach. You can't coach that. That's just, it is what it is. Either you have it or you don't. Okay? That type of speed that had Wile E. Coyote looking like a fool for about 40 years, you're either born with it or you're not. And guess which side? Exactly. And guess which side of that toll Jonathan Paylor lands on. So if he's going to be used as a running back, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with him being used as a running back. I'm fine with him being used as a receiver. I'm fine. By the way, y'all can take payday package. It's free. Y'all can take it. Don't care. Just find ways to get him the ball. If he's your jet sweep specialist, if he's a guy that you're using as, we'll put him in and then teams will think it's a jet sweep and we can run some decoy stuff off that. Yep. Maybe get him on a wheel route up the sideline because everybody's coming downhill to attack the jet sweep. I don't care how you do it. Just do it. I don't care how you get the ball to Jonathan Paylor. Just make sure that multiple times a game, we are looking up saying, man, that Paylor kid, I'll tell you what, he is something special, because that's what I believe will be the end result of him getting a bunch of touches again.
Like, think about a potential split back set where you have Hollywood Smothers, Jonathan Paylor, Justin Jolie, Noah Rogers, and maybe like Wesley Grimes. And a defense has to figure out how to defend all five of those guys. Sometimes it makes all the sense because it is sensible. Like, do that. Put your best players in position to succeed, but it will be fascinating to see how the coaching staff will handle that going into this season in the fall. Coming up next, we're getting into a whole lot of nothing, a whole lot of something. More on this after a quick word from our sponsors. Our Thursday sponsor is FanDuel. Summer sports are in full swing, and whether you're all about baseball under the lights, golf on the green, or high-stakes soccer action, FanDuel is the best way to make every single game more exciting. If you're already following the action, then why not make it just a little bit more thrilling? With FanDuel, you can get in on the game while you and all your friends are getting sunburned at the beach this summer. It's easy to use, fast to pay out, and makes the regular season games feel like must-watch events. Whether you're placing a same-game parlay or watching a bet right into the ninth inning, that just made me sweat a little bit, FanDuel makes it feel like you are part of the action. If you're new to FanDuel, new customers can bet just $5 and get $150 back in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Open the FanDuel app today or visit FanDuel.com in order to get started. Middle portion of our Thursday show. Now time for a whole lot of nothing, a whole lot of something. 3 topics. We'll tell you exactly where we stand on them. First one here is a tweet from CFB Tracker on Twitter. They listed out the conference championship records of all the schools in the P4 conferences. 14 schools have made an appearance in the ACC championship for football. NC State is not one of them. Whole lot of nothing, whole lot of something.
We got to kick it off like this, Grayson. This is how we got to kick it off.
Had to be done.
This is bad ball. It's a whole lot of something. It honestly is. The ACC championship game, in terms of football as we know it, has been played since 2005. We are coming up on the 20-year anniversary of the first one. And how many, not wins, how many appearances do we have?
Not one.
None. At some point in time, you've got to break this. You've got to break this. Let's just look at, and I know for those who say, oh, well, we're behind and we just don't have the resources, Wake Forest has been. Pitt has won one. Virginia Tech has been. Georgia Tech has been. All those teams are resourcing us. Are we too poor to compete with the mighty, wealthy Wake Forest Demon Deacons? I don't think so. The Dirty Foot Club is gone. You know, it's who is it? Like us in Miami? The only actually, no, Miami went once. Now I think about it. They just got their doors blown off.
They
but
did.
Even they
Clemson, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. So,
I got a real nasty one for you. Boston College has gone twice.
That was the Tom O'Brien era. That was the Matt Ryan.
Ryan.
You gonna tell me that we can't spin like the boys on Chestnut Hill? Stop it, man. Stop it. You know, at the end of the day, at some point in time, we have to get there. We have to. And this is why, like, for all the respect and the care and the love that we talk about all of these players and coaches with, we never remove from sight championships are the goal. You play to win the games. Because at the end of the day, regardless of what reasoning you could give, oh, we're behind, oh, that was 20 years ago, whatever the case may be, this is spanning 2 coaches. This is spanning, or actually, no, 3 coaches, I believe, because that was the tail end of Chuckamata, the beginning of O'Brien, and now Dorn. This is spanning 3 coaches now.
Yep.
That we have not one time, so this ain't an indictment of just Dorn, that we have not one time got there. We've sniffed it. We've come close. Dorn had us mighty close. If we could have just got off the field on 3rd or 4th down against Wake Forest a few years ago, we would have been there. But if Ips was 5th, Grayson and I would be, sloppy drunk. You know, loose off the goose. Don't get us started type of drunk. But we are where we are. Real life is real life. And, you know, they just, this team has continually not gotten there. So it's a whole lot of something.
And I will say the 14 teams is a little bit skewed because Notre Dame was one of those, and they were inserted the COVID year, I believe it was, 2020. That doesn't really count, but 13 still. There's 17 football teams, and you are one that has not gone. It's embarrassing. And think about that. 2 of the other ones are Stanford and Cal. So that means there's just one more that I cannot think of at the moment that hasn't been alongside of us. It's embarrassing.
I believe it would be UVA, would it not?
Nope, they've gone. They
UVA,
were also a victim. They're also a victim of Clemson. UVA has gone, 2019. Yeah.
It's an evil world we live in.
Yeah, you're picking up what I'm putting down here. It's embarrassing. It's not so much the fact that schools like Boston College or UVA or I don't know who else you want to throw in there. Like Duke has been to one or Georgia Tech. They've had some good years. And they were good enough to make it the conference championship. That's kind of the point, though. It's like Boston College has been twice. Boston College. But NC State can't even make an appearance. Duke football, I mean, they're in a different spot currently, like present day, but Duke football historically is essentially a net zero, or maybe a net negative, and they've made an appearance. Georgia Tech has fallen off far from what they used to be. They've had 4 appearances. Like nothing. We don't have a single time. That's the frustration that I definitely get from the fan base when we're like, SMU joins the conference and in the first year they make it to Charlotte. And again, I know the circumstances are different, but we're dying here. Like all we want as a fan base is to compete for a championship. We want to be in contention for the conference championship. We've been close. We've knocked on that door, but we have still not made it through the door. Year 13 of Doran, Tom O'Brien was here for a hot minute. Chuck Amato is here for a hot minute. When will NC State break through and make it to Charlotte? Until we do, it's going to be continually frustrating. It's a whole lot of something.
I'm going to tell you this, Grayson. I just looked up the other team that hasn't made it. It's Syracuse.
Wow. Yeah, you're right. Syracuse.
And I'm going to tell you something. If Fran Brown sticks around there, I highly doubt that they stay on that list too much longer. So, that list is going to be whittled down potentially to just one team. And one is the loneliest number that you could ever know.
That's right. Second one here, on a much lighter note, NC State baseball had 6 players taken in the MLB draft last week, the third most of all schools in the ACC. Whole lot of nothing, whole lot of something.
Whole lot of something. Elliott Avon continues to do more with less in terms of player development. We would love to see that strung together on the field to get us to raise one of those banners. By banners, I mean championship banner. We know that you get a banner for going to Omaha and all that. Don't get me wrong. But I mean a one-on-one. I mean hey, there was only one team in the country that got one this year. We'd love to see it culminate in that. But you cannot deny what Elliott Avon has done in terms of producing and cranking out players to the show at this school where the resources have not always been there.
Yeah, they repeatedly produce. It's undeniable. And as frustrating as it's been in the postseason here the last couple of years, they're always putting players into the MLB draft, and they're successfully being taken. So it's another mark of the program's success that we've had for an extended amount of time. And Avent and Hart and the rest of the staff, they do such a great job at developing the players they take, because some of these players, like actually most of these players, they're not the highest rated that we're recruiting into the program. Like Josh Hogue is a former JUCO guy, just for an example. Like these are not world-beating talents that we're taking at NC State, and then they're just making the obvious jump to the next level. It's not that. It takes a lot of player development. Like just for example, our guy Romcom Dom, he had to come back for his draft stock this year and put together his best year yet, and he was the quickest player off the board from NC State. So all the player development at NC State, it's been very real and a testament to this staff and all the work they've done over the years. So it's definitely a whole lot of something. Third one here, DJ Horn and DJ Burns will be back together again this weekend. They're playing in the TBT tournament with Coach Brandon Chain, one of our newest coaches on staff with Coach Wade. They're playing for Team ALS. Whole lot of nothing, whole lot of something.
Whole lot of something. I know that the interview with the street interview somebody did with DJ Burns is going viral, where the guy kind of shooed away Peyton Wilson. They're like, oh, but DJ Burns is obviously a legend in the city for a reason. So is DJ Horn. Hometown guy, came back and made good and all that good stuff. I'm excited to see these two regardless of in what capacity. You know what I mean? Even 30, 40 years from now, when they're beyond unk status, when they're beyond washed, I'll still be excited to see those two reunite, because what they did here, undeniable, broke a championship drought that had lasted since before Grayson and I were born. One of us is 30 and one of us is turning 30 very shortly. This is a situation where, hey, what they did here, never be forgotten. I don't care if they're signing up for a power walking competition. I'll be there cheering on DJ Burns and DJ Horn, our two DJs.
Yeah, I mean, this goes without saying, but for what they gave us in 2024, they will have my support, Kenton's support, all of Wolfpack Nation's support forever, regardless of what it is. But this instance, playing for Team ALS in the TBT tournament with one of our current coaches on staff, Brandon Chambers, they're playing for such a good cause. Brandon Chambers did an interview talking about his late father who passed away with ALS, a horrible disease. But the awareness being brought forth, I mean, for Wolfpack Nation in large part because of these players and one of our coaches on staff, but the awareness being brought to this disease is a very big deal. And to see two NC State legends back together, I'll also add that Amir Khan's going to be walking them out with the boombox. So another little NC State flair to this whole thing. It's awesome. And they will forever mean the world to us because of what they accomplished, yes. But just to see them back together again, it makes you feel something. It really does. So I can't wait to watch them in the TBT tournament. Hopefully they take home the whole thing. They're playing for $1 million if they win this tournament. Certainly looking forward to seeing if they can get it done. Coming up next, we're going to round out our Thursday show talking about the ACC kickoff, which is next Thursday, and the 4 players that will represent the NC State Wolfpack. More on this after a quick word from our sponsors. Last couple of minutes of our Thursday show, talking briefly about the ACC kickoff, the ACC Media Day that will take place in Charlotte next week. NC State's appearance will be on Thursday. Kent and I are both planning on being in the house, talking to Coach Dorn and the 4 players that will represent NC State. Very excited to be there for our 3rd consecutive year there together. This year, NC State will be represented by Justin Jolie, CJ Bailey, Brandon Cleveland, and Caden Fordham. So about a week or 2 ago, we made some predictions on who we thought would be representing the pack. They went with 4 players instead of 3, 2 offense, 2 defense. The quarterback, CJ Bailey, we did get that right. We also rightfully predicted Justin Jolie. I believe, Kenton, you might have said Brandon Cleveland as an option. He will be there. And Caden Fordham, our senior linebacker. Your thoughts on these 4 selections for the pack?
Again, I think that this is a good 4. 4 gentlemen that are very well spoken. 4 gentlemen that they're not going to give a bunch of opponents bulletin board material. 4 guys that are excellent representations of this program. They represent themselves well. They represent their families well. They represent this program well. And more importantly than that, these are guys who have been in the program, all of them, for some time. Do you notice, of the guys you just named, how many of them are just transferring in?
None.
Oh, okay. So everybody who is going to ACC Media Days this year has been in the Wolfpack locker room, has at least seen a kind of year where, we had a not so great down year and all that good stuff. They've been here. They've been in the trenches. So I'm excited for all of these guys. I'm excited to, see them and all that good stuff and kind of have those conversations of what's next. What do you do to take that next step? Because it's been elusive. You and I just talked about it. 2005. We were wearing big T-shirts and fake chains when the ACC game was started, championship game was started, and it still wasn't going yet. Grayson might have had in some pretend cornrows on his Allen Iverson type of wave in 2005, and yet since then we've had many evolutions away from that. As you can see, Grayson does not have any cornrows now, but we still have not gotten to the ACC championship game. So obviously asking about that, but more importantly, asking about things like, kind of what is a successful season? What are the expectations in the locker room for this team?
You know what else I was doing in 2005? I was listening to Coldplay. But you know what I wasn't doing in 2005? Being caught at a concert red-handed. No, that was way off topic. Sorry about that. We could talk about it if you want us to. No, these 4 players, we talked about this last week. More often than not, the players that get selected for ACC kickoff will be the captains for that year's upcoming team. So I do find it interesting. Well, actually, not really. I mean, these are 4 very obvious selections, quite honestly. Jolie's a senior player. He's one of the best players on the team. Probably our best shot at having a high draft pick in this year's NFL draft because he's a top 5 tight end in the entire country. CJ Bailey's the quarterback. No further explanation needed there. This is his team. He is a captain. Brandon Cleveland on the defensive line, the nose tackle. Yeah, he's a captain as well. He's been here, I think, all 4 years, if I'm not mistaken. This will be his 4th year with us. He is a leader on that defense. He will be expected to display leadership all throughout this fall season as well. And he's very well spoken, to Kenton's point. I really enjoy listening to Brandon Cleveland talk. He's very articulate in everything he says. So I think he's an excellent selection. And Caden Fordham, I guess, is like my biggest surprise, but him being the middle linebacker and a captain, that's not the surprising part. But does this mean that he's a full go? I would imagine it's probably a really good sign that they feel good about where he's at this point of his recovery process. Coming off of the torn ACL, I think it was like mid-October. For him to be a full go here before August even rolls around, that's a extremely encouraging sign for this team and much needed as well, because that linebacking room last year, we sorely missed having Fordham in the middle. I'll leave that there. But these four are excellent representatives of the NC State Wolfpack, and we're certainly looking forward to everything they have to say about this upcoming season, their thoughts on anything else off-season related. Hopefully they won't be challenging Alabama because Nick Saban is no longer there. I don't know what Castellanos is doing for Florida State. That was one of the craziest things I've ever heard him say. But yeah, no, I don't expect CJ Bailey to say that Notre Dame's a bunch of nobodies or Miami can't play for the big one or none of that. These guys are very well spoken. They think about what they're saying, and they're very exciting to talk to. So 4 selections this year for the Wolfpack at ACC kickoff. Very excited to get down there and listen to them speak next week. That will do it for us here on Thursday. As always, thank you all so much for joining us. Be sure to hit that like button. Drop your comments in the comment box. Tell us your thoughts on potentially what they will do with Jonathan Paylor this fall. Will he be a running back? Will he be a wide receiver? Will he be on kick or punt return? Tell us how you think that he is best suited to serve this squad in 25. Tell us your thoughts on the MLB draft and NC State 6 players taken. NC State never making an appearance in the ACC championship for football. Sorry, I had to bring that up. Anything else you have on your mind as well, drop that in the comment box. Mash that subscribe button if you have not already. We'll catch you back here tomorrow on Friday for more. And until then, go Pack.
Go Pack.